What's happening, my friend? Welcome to my channel. My name's David, and in this video, I'm going to be discussing NESARA GESARA, what it is, and what exactly it means. So stick around. If you're new to my channel and you like personal and spiritual development videos, hit the subscribe button and notification bell down below because I release new videos every Monday. And let's get right into the video. So a couple of months ago, I became aware of this thing called NESARA and GESARA, and I'm going to pull up my screen in a second just to show you exactly what it entails. But essentially, if it happens, and I believe it's happening already, certain parts of it, I have seen some evidence. Hopefully it's true. I mean, hopefully it wasn't doctored. But I'm also hearing stories of people having their loans, their mortgages cleared, their credit cards wiped, and things like that. You know, the debt's cleared. So, and this is happening all over the world apparently, and you know, it will happen to everyone eventually, but it goes in stages. And they were beta testing this quite a lot. I think it was last month. So let's pull it up now, and I will show you what it is. So essentially, NESARA GESARA, this act. GESARA stands for Global Economic Security and Reformation Act, and NESARA is National Economic Security and Reformation Act. So NESARA is for the US and GESARA is for the rest of the world. And apparently this thing was written up in the late 50s, and JFK was going to implement this in the early 60s, and then he was assassinated, as you probably well know. The next time this was going to be implemented was September 11th, 2001. And obviously the 9/11 attacks happened that day, and that put that stopped the implementation of this act. So let's have a look at some of the things here. The first thing, there's 20 of these things. Cancels all credit card debt, mortgage, and other bank debt due to illegal banking and government activities. Many refer to this as a jubilee or a complete forgiveness of debt. So that would, come in line with what I've just said about people having their credit cards wiped and their mortgages cleared. Some people have had their tax debts wiped as well. It abolishes income tax. It abolishes the IRS, with employees of the IRS will be transferred to the US Treasury National Sales Tax area. So apparently, paying tax on your income is illegal under constitutional law. And the reason that they're able to do it is because essentially when we're born, we get a birth certificate, which turns us from a living man or woman into a dead entity, a corporation owned by the government. And that means they're able to charge us tax on the money that we earn. So there's going to be a 17% flat rate of non-essential new items, only sales tax revenue for the government. In other words, food and medicine will not be taxed, nor will used items such as old homes. So this increases benefits to senior citizens as well. I hear that there will be some sort of income that they'll be able to earn to take care of them in retirement, which is awesome, because a lot of retirees don't have enough money to really live a good life after they retire. They weren't able to save enough. It will return constitutional law to all courts and legal matters. So from what I hear, a lot of the corrupt individuals in the courts of law in the US have been removed, and they're making way for new people, and they're going to retrain these people in common law, because the law that they use right now is the law of the sea, which is maritime law. The word law actually stands for land, air, and water. So what we operate in this in the current system is the water law, maritime law. So it'll reinstate the original title of nobility amendment. I'm not really sure what that means. Establishes new presidential and congressional elections within 120 days of GESARA's announcement. The interim government will cancel all national emergencies and return return us back to constitutional law. So obviously there's an election coming up. I'm not exactly sure what is going to happen with that election. From what I hear, it's going to go ahead as planned, But who knows? We never know what's going to happen. I know the Democrats are trying to delay the election, or they're trying to say that Trump's not going to hand over the power to Biden or whoever. If Biden is the candidate, then if they win, it monitors elections and prevents illegal election activities of special interest groups. So you may know that a lot of elections around the world are rigged, and so this will stop that, which is awesome. Which means our vote will count. I was never really one to really care too much about politics up until this year. Not because I knew that they were rigged, but because I don't know, I just didn't really have an interest in it. I was quite apathetic to it. I have a much bigger interest now, and our election's coming up next year, and I'll be voting. And if this goes ahead, then I know my vote will count, which is awesome. So it creates a new US Treasury rainbow currency backed by gold, silver, and platinum precious metals, ending the bankruptcy of the US initiated by Franklin Roosevelt in 1993. So right now we have a fiat system. It's a debt-based system. All the money is created as a loan and debts attached to it. So this will back the currencies by precious metals, which will mean that only a certain amount of currency will be created, and it will be backed by a hard asset versus a debt, a level of debt. It forbids the sale of American birth certificate records to chattel property bonds by the US Department of Transportation. I know that when we are born, that when we have a birth certificate that's created by us, by the government, then we become their property. So I think that's what that's referring to. It will initiate US Treasury bank system in alignment with constitutional law. So apparently we're having a new financial system. From what I hear, it's already in play, and it hasn't been officially announced yet, but we'll have to wait and see. I hope it's true. It eliminates the Federal Reserve System. During the transition period, the Federal Reserve will be allowed to operate side by side of the US Treasury for 1 year in order to remove all Federal Reserve notes from the money supply. So from what I hear, they will be getting new notes, and this will be a gradual process, I guess, over a year. But yeah, we'll have to wait and see. Restores financial privacy. It retrains all judges and attorneys in constitutional law, which I just mentioned. Ceases all aggressive US government military actions worldwide. Now, from what I understand, all countries have signed up, countries and territories have signed up to GESARA, and it prohibits war. So any country that wants to go to war will be removed from the system, which obviously means world peace. I mean, can you imagine that? That would be absolutely phenomenal. There would be absolutely no war whatsoever. We're always at war. The world's always at war in some way, shape, or form. Releases unprecedented prosperity with enormous. Well, actually, number 17 establishes peace throughout the world, and number 18 releases unprecedented prosperity with enormous sums of money for humanitarian purposes. So, to me, that means that there's so many countries that have been ravaged by war or kept below the poverty line on purpose. A lot of African countries, a lot of Asian countries, and Middle Eastern countries. And that's been done on purpose. And if this is happening and it's true, then a lot of money is going to be released to those countries for humanitarian purposes. Those countries will be allowed to flourish and thrive, much like some first world countries have, and the whole world will be able to thrive, which is awesome. And when the whole world thrives, can you imagine what kind of a world we'll be living in when that happens? It enables the release of over 6,000 patents of suppressed technologies that are being withheld from the public under the guise of national security, including free energy devices, anti-gravity, and sonic healing machines. So we've been on this fossil fuel system for the last 100 years or so. And when we could have gone with the Tesla system, with the magnetic energy, but we went with the other system, which allows energy to be charged, and we have to pay for it. And eliminates all current and future nuclear power powered weaponry on planet Earth. So that's it. All of them awesome, obviously, and I really do hope that it comes into play. I guess only time will tell, but yeah, that's NESARA and GESARA in a nutshell. So that's the end of the video. Drop a comment below. Tell me which one is your favorite. Like, what would you like to see in the new world? And I would love to hear from you. So until the next video, peace, much love, and take care.